Hello everyone, Econael here. Now it's time for my favorite games of 2023 presented to you in 2025. In stark contrast to 2022, which featured only 3 games, 23 features a lot, and that is mainly because of the Steam Deck. I got myself a Steam Deck in 23 and for me that was a total game changer. Now, the Steam Deck as a dedicated gaming device allows you to play very short sessions, especially because you can, at any point in time, switch the Steam Deck into sleep mode. That means even if you play a game that cannot save at this point in time, even if it is within a cutscene, wherever it is, you can just hit the power button, it goes to sleep, and then later on you hit the power button and you're immediately inside the game. There's no loading, there's no checkpoints, etc. that you have to take into consideration. So compared to a computer, to a PC, it's much quicker to get back into the game. And that allows for very short gaming sessions. And I mean extremely short, like 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes of time, you can play on a Steam Deck. Probably not on a PC. And I mainly got it because it allows you to play wherever. So away from the computer, in a different room, on the couch, next to your significant other. And the portability is definitely, obviously, the main draw of a handheld. But since I hadn't been playing on any console or handheld for decades. Like I had the original, the OG Nintendo home entertainment system and also the OG Game Boy, but that was so long ago. And then the last decades I was mostly playing on a PC. A handheld experience is different, very different. Like it just feels different to play stuff. For example, on a PC, I have either headphones or surround sound setup. And you see these little speaker grills on the Steam Deck. The speakers on the Steam Deck are amazingly good. And having the small screen and the speakers next to them, the sound, it's kind of, it feels like you're holding the game world in your hands and the sound comes from the game world rather than from around you and from everywhere. And it's hard to put into words, but it just feels different to play on a handheld than to play on a computer, on a PC, on a big screen. The Steam Deck, I would say, is relatively inexpensive, especially if you still pick the LCD version. Costs are always relative, but compared to consoles or gaming PC, it's not expensive. And the OLED version, I would say the main draw is the higher refresh rate of the screen, but that is only relevant for fast-paced games. And since I've been, honestly, most hours spent on the Steam Deck have been by now Balatro and Slay the Spire, which are turn-based anyway, so the frame rate is not that important. Be aware that the current 9th generation games that run on, let's say, Unreal Engine 5, etc., and rely on heavy ray tracing, obviously don't run well on this handheld. But a lot of games that I played in 23 ran extremely well on a Steam Deck. Now let's get to the games. First of all, contender for Game of the Year in 2023, Cocoon. It flew under the radar of a lot of people if you just look at the small amount of reviews, but whoever played it liked it a lot, very positive. It is, if not then one of the best puzzle games I've ever played. I absolutely adore art styles like this, which are, I would say, they don't really have textures or very minor details in textures. Instead, they rely on gradients and on forms. It's kind of, it's its own clean art style. I really like it. The game has a bit of a twist, and I somehow got it without even watching the trailers. So if you can, avoid watching the trailers and get it. It's very good. It runs well on the Steam Deck. I played it, I think on PC, but then tried it on the Steam Deck and it runs very good. It's short, very enjoyable. Definitely a recommendation even in 2025. Next game, also contender for Game of the Year in 2023, Chants of Senna. It's, 24,000 positive reviews. I would say you probably haven't heard of it. overwhelmingly positive because it's very clear on the Steam page that this is a puzzle game about languages. And I would say if you are into languages, so that means, I don't know, you like foreign languages, you like to learn languages, you watch YouTube videos about languages, you like grammar and stuff like that, you will probably enjoy this game a lot. It has a very unique puzzle mechanic where when you play the game, everything that's written, or I mean, besides the menus, of course, but in the game world, everything that's written and all of the characters that talk to you, they talk in one of multiple languages that you have to decipher. So you see the glyphs that you don't understand. You see them in different contexts, and then you can maybe understand what they might mean. And then you have like a notebook where you can type down what you think it means. And then what you have typed down, you see in context in the game world when you happen on the glyph again. And you have to decipher the language to be able to progress. Otherwise it's not possible, because you also have to like talk with NPCs, and yeah, you don't know what they're saying. And then after like there's like chapters, and it's like a quiz or a test where you have to show your understanding of the glyphs. And if you have understood them properly and you can use them in context properly, then the game awards you by showing you the real meaning of the glyphs. And then you can progress, unlock the next glyphs until you have unlocked the whole language. But then there are more languages. So it's so unique. I've never played anything like it. If you have any interest in languages whatsoever, get it. It's amazing. It has quite good pacing for its 9 or 10 hours. And just like Cocoon, I really enjoyed the art style. It's like very stylized, strong colors, and a kind of clean art style. I like it. Next game might be a hidden gem, because 3,500 positive reviews is like nothing. It's a short game. I would definitely recommend it. It was quite fun. It plays a bit like Hotline Miami. So it's a fast top-down action game. It has very good pacing for its few hours that you play it. Has a nice stylized art style and very fitting drum-heavy music. And it's probably something that I don't remember if I played it on a Steam Deck, but I'm sure it runs very well on a Steam Deck. By the way, Chants of Sennaar, it does run well on a Steam Deck, but as you're kind of, inputting text from time to time, maybe you'll prefer on the PC, but probably perfectly playable on a Steam Deck. And I'm sure, I think I tried it and it runs well on a Steam Deck. All right, so Ape Out, definitely recommendation. Next one, but now you probably get it that these are games that I played in 23, not games that came out in 23. So Bayonetta, definitely a recommendation. In my opinion, maybe still the best spectacle fighter, or at least one of the best spectacle fighters. And it's a very, I would say it is a pretty in-depth spectacle fighter. So what is a spectacle fighter? This, maybe you have heard of Devil May Cry. It's kind of an own genre where the action is about spectacle. So the difficulty is usually kind of forgiving. So only like the bosses, mini bosses, or like some special enemies are kind of difficult. Most enemies are easy to deal with, but it's not about just dealing with the enemies. It's about how you deal with the enemies. Do cool combos, right? So in these games, you get rated by how stylish you deal with enemies in a cool way. If you just spam the same move over and over again, you're not gonna get a very good, high rating. I really enjoyed that the story is very lighthearted, positive, uplifting, and fun. This was way before there was like politics in video games like nowadays. Bayonetta has great characters, very good voice actors, and I personally think Bayonetta is the coolest protagonist, way cooler than Dante, way cooler than Nathan Drake, cooler than the OG Lara Croft, I would even say. So really cool, interesting character. The game has very good controls, very nicely flowing combos. The only downside is that it has some QTEs, but the quick time events are not that bad because usually there's good checkpoints before that. So not a deal breaker for me in any way. I really enjoyed that, for example, in Bayonetta, when you do a perfect dodge, then time slows down. So that's a very interesting way to, award the player for doing perfect dodges, not dodging too early, but just right. It's like instead of parrying, you get time slowing down, and that's also kind of cool. And everything is super cool about the game. It runs perfectly fine on a Steam Deck because it's an old game. It has only 27,000 ish reviews on Steam, but that is probably because most people have played this on a console rather than on Steam. But it is on Steam, and yeah, I think 12 hours ish, maybe 15 is probably correct for this game. Then Bayonetta 2, definitely recommended. It is a very good incremental improvement over Bayonetta 1. So I would say camera, combat, controls, weapons, combos, etc. Everything is a little bit better. Also kind of like level design, I would say, and they feel a bit better, more interesting. This story is a bit more serious and heavy, but that's neither positive nor negative. It's just a bit different. And I found a few of the side characters to be annoying, but it's subjective, obviously. I would say the greatest downside to Bayonetta 2 is that it's not on Steam. So it's like a Wii U or Switch game. I played it on an emulator, don't tell Nintendo. It's a very cool game. Yeah, definitely recommend it if you can find a way to play it. Don't talk to me about Bayonetta 3, that doesn't exist. That's such a disgrace. I will not play it. Then next game, Katana Zero. Definitely recommend it in 2025. It's kind of like a side-scrolling Hotline Miami, I would say. It's way more polished than Hotline Miami. Actually, if you were to play Hotline Miami 1 or 2 nowadays, you'd be shocked by... like, we have different standards for polish, I would say, nowadays than back then. Do you remember the term ludonarrative dissonance? It was kind of en vogue 10 or 15 years ago. People were talking about it a lot. Well, this game has ludonarrative resonance. So the gameplay is very violent, but also the story is very violent. And it's not just about violence or not. It's also, I don't know, I would say the whole story kind of meshes very well with the gameplay. Yeah, play it, then you'll understand what I mean. The story itself is a bit of a puzzle where the protagonist has like some memory issues and he gets flashbacks. Yeah, it was interesting. I liked it. It was maybe a bit crass, a bit violent, so maybe not for everyone. But yeah, gameplay is quite good. And if violence is not a problem for you, then it's a definite recommendation. Plays quite well on a Steam Deck. And I would say 4.5 hours is maybe a bit too short because if I remember correctly, there were some story reasons to keep playing or replaying a few levels. So like 6 hours sounds correct for this game. Overwhelmingly positive. I believe that whether a game has very positive or overwhelmingly positive reviews depends a lot on the expectations that are raised in the player. So that depends a lot on how the game is presented and how the store page looks like. So if as a player you get exactly what you expect on the store page and also the game is good, the performance is well and it's not bullshit, it's a good game, then it's overwhelmingly positive and not very positive. And then even if the game is good, but if the store page makes you believe it's one thing and then you play it and it's actually not that, it's actually something else, then it gets a lot of negative reviews and it's not overwhelmingly positive anymore. Next up, Brotato. Would I recommend it in 2025? It depends. Depends what you like. So it is, I would say, Vampire Survivors-like. It doesn't really have a full description. Some people say bullet hell, some people say bullet heaven. It's not really just that. It's its own subgenre and it has 100,000 reviews. You probably know it. You probably heard of it. I think it's better than OG Vampire Survivors because the pacing is good. It has a neat variety because there's so many characters to play. There's enough weapons and enough relics. And the characters are kind of like challenges. And some of them play very differently. So the game has 21-minute waves, and it's enough to survive a wave. You don't necessarily need to kill all enemies, which means that, I mean, obviously you want to kill as many as possible because then you get the resources and you can kind of keep up with the difficulty progression. But you can have these situations where, okay, I'm not really strong enough to kill them, but maybe in the shop, like after every wave you have a shop, maybe in the shop I can get stuff that helps me to get a huge boost in DPS so that then I can eke out a victory. Main story, 5 hours. What main story, dude? It's a roguelike. Like, I don't know what do these numbers mean for that, but it's definitely a bread and butter Steam Deck game, I would say, especially because, hey, you have 21-minute waves. That means if you have only like 2 minutes to play, you can play a wave, then go to the shop and then turn off the Steam Deck. So yeah, overwhelmingly positive because it's probably, I mean, it's really, in my opinion, the best Vampire Survivors like, but also you know what you get when you see the store page. And yeah, so if you like Vampire Survivors like games, then you will enjoy Potato. But if you like Vampire Survivors like games, you probably already own it and play it. Next up, another, I would say, hidden gem, Valfaris. So, would I recommend it in 2025? Depends. The style is very metal. So the game actually is a Souls-like bullet hell platformer. If you're into metal and like Souls-likes, try it. If you like platformers and you're into metal, try it. The difficulty is merciless, but it's fair. Like there's no really very few, I would actually say no bullshit deaths. When you die, you know why, and you can get good and finish the game. I didn't, but I enjoyed it. It's a very good Steam Deck game, and probably not a lot of people know it because very few reviews. Yeah. Next up, Gorogoa. Definitely recommend in any year. It is a unique puzzle game. I have never seen other games with similar mechanics, and it's maybe one of the best puzzle games I've played. It's very short, and it probably runs well on a Steam Deck, but I would highly suggest to play it on a big screen because it has beautiful art. And if you are into puzzle games at all, you probably have played it, but if not, give it a go. It's really good. Next up, Mini Ninjas. It's not well known. I didn't check if probably this was also on consoles. And I only heard about this game in some YouTuber's favorite games list. And he said it was one of his favorite childhood games. And it is really good. Like the store page, the videos, etc. and screenshots are kind of old. And it's more fun than it actually looks like on a store page. It is, what is it? It's a third-person action, like it has combat game, it has some platforming, it has some stealth elements. It's not like Ubisoft open world, not at all. It has, within the level, there's multiple approaches, but it is definitely level-based. The style might be aimed at, I don't know, like 12-year-olds or something like that. But there was no cringe at all. There was no nonsense. And I found it delightful and playful. It might be a bit too easy, I would say, actually. But that just gives you more room to, experiment around and maybe have fun and finish the levels in a fun way. And it's not really like a hardcore difficult game at all. It was great fun. Plays very well on the Steam Deck. If I remember correctly, there was only like one level that had some frame rate drops. Otherwise, it mostly ran on 60 FPS, no problem. And it's not very long. And yeah, definitely gets a recommendation from me. Next one, Immortals Phoenix Rising. Would I recommend it? It depends, right? So it's a Breath of the Wild like, I would say. in the end, it depends. So I didn't play Breath of the Wild or other similar games. And also, I think the last Ubisoft game I had, like, typical Ubisoft open world, it's always the same. And the last ones that I had played before was Far Cry 3 and Assassin's Creed 1, maybe 2. So a lot of time had passed and I hadn't played any similar open world like games. And I really enjoyed this one. So the story was surprisingly enjoyable. I kind of liked it. The combat was pretty decent and the puzzles were quite good. Story. What I liked about the story is that it kind of showed that the gods, like the Greek pantheon, they had human-like qualities. Not just everything's perfect, but they had some downsides to their personalities and how this kind of affected them. And it was good. It's not a trashy, not a bad story. It's definitely enjoyable. I would say there's no reason to do 100% of the side content because as it's an open world game, some of the side content will be repetitive for sure. And but it's not necessary to do that. I maybe 100%ed the first two regions in the game, but by then my character was so strong that I just rushed through the next two regions and just did the main story, and that's fine. Like, I even would advocate to not 100% games because then you leave something open for imagination, right? So when you see 100% of a game, it kind of, I would say, it's like looking behind the curtain. It kind of loses a bit of the magic. And if you don't see everything, and in open world games, it's not necessary to do everything because usually earlier than that, your character is way overpowered. Then leave it up and you still have this benefit of the imagination of, maybe there was something really cool there that, I don't know, it's just my opinion. Don't 100% everything. The downsides of the game are that obviously it's an Ubisoft game, Ubisoft launcher accounts, yada yada. It uses the Nouveau. And I didn't check, but that's probably the reason why it has so many negative reviews. And why does it have so few reviews? I'm not sure. Maybe because people got it for free on Epic Games or played it on console or something like that. And it's not a short game, so 25 hours. Yeah, maybe that's true. Yeah, so you can play it for a couple of days. Factorio. Would I recommend it? Yeah, if you haven't played it, definitely. I think I don't have to explain what Factorio is. It has so many reviews, you probably have heard about it. It is still, I would say, the best automation game. Why? Why is it better than, let's say, Satisfactory or something like that? I think it's because of visibility issues. And since Factorio is kind of 2D and flat, you see everything quite well. And in other games, you have to change perspective a lot, and it kind of takes longer to get from A to B and stuff like that. But I must say I haven't played other automation games for a long time. But I spent a lot of time with Factorio. The first playthrough is great. It's magical. I don't think it has a lot of replay value outside of mods because doing the same thing over and over again, maybe more, let's say, more effective, faster, better. I enjoyed the space exploration mod a lot. I think that's what I played in 2023. That was before Space Age, so don't confuse it with the official expansion Space Age. I probably won't be playing that. But it is quite special. If you've never played Factorio, there's no sale, unfortunately, for this game. But if you like optimizing systems, then it's for you. Because Factorio gameplay is just that, optimizing your factory. And there will be a lot of optimization necessary. And what it does great is you can just see, you immediately see when something is not optimal, and you can just follow the cause and find a way to fix it. Yeah, definitely a recommendation if you're into optimization and automation, then you will find enjoyment in this. 50 hours? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Honestly, they added a bit more content, but if you get into Factorio, be ready to spend at least 50 hours, probably 100. Ooh, yeah, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, if you have not played it, it is the first Metal Gear that I played. It has nothing like other Metal Gear games, and I probably won't be playing the other Metal Gear games. They're not really my cup of tea. But this one, yes, it's a spectacle fighter, which the other Metal Gears are not. It's such a banger game. It's so cool. The music, the characters, the gameplay, the combat is really great. It has quite cool characters. Most of them have also quite good voice acting, and there's interesting bosses. And what I really enjoyed about it, it's a very good mix between a campy story that's quite fun, but also some parts of it can be serious. And it has these optional story elements. So what does this mean? So at any point in time, you can hit the pause menu and communicate via, I don't know, radio or whatever, via phone with your team that are kind of watching you remotely because you're a cyborg, whatever. And like within a level, after seeing things, after beating or encountering NPCs or like story characters, you can talk with them and they would have something to say that is in context and it's voice acted. Some of it is kind of goofy, campy, some of it is serious and interesting. And but it's completely optional. You don't have to do that. Like you can just focus on the gameplay and then you have minimal story, and that's also fine. And I like having this freedom. It plays extremely well on the Steam Deck. This is exactly the generation of games that look super cool and where you're wowed that they run well on handheld. It has a lot of positive reviews. You've probably heard of it, at least seen some memes about it. It's surprisingly short, right? So it's not a very long game. I think it's even shorter than other spectacle fighters. But as the other spectacle fighters, just killing enemies is easy, but doing it in a stylish way, yeah, that's what the game is about. Definitely a recommendation. Play it. It's so good. Devil May Cry 5. Would I recommend it in 25? Not to everyone. Like if you're a lot into spectacle fighters, if you like to spend more time in a spectacle fighter than just the main story, then I would say yes, you will probably enjoy it. What does it mean if you're a bit of a completionist, if you wanna play it on the highest difficulty, if you wanna speedrun it, or I don't know, get a high score, and you enjoy these things, then I would suggest it. It is a very, very polished spectacle fighter. The combat is very good with an asterisk. I will talk about that. And the training mode it has is like the best I've ever seen in any similar game. I personally find the story a bit too serious, like compared with first. I don't remember which Devil May Cry I played, the second or the first or something like that. That was way more campy and funny. This I found a bit too serious. And outside of the story cutscenes, there were really a bunch of unskippable animations, which are basically opening doors, that kind of broke the game flow for me, which kind of got on my nerves. And I also would say that a lot of the environments were artistically quite bland, especially, I would say most of them, especially in Hell though. And it had some platforming that I found pretty boring. I'm not a huge platforming fan though. And I disliked the forced protagonist switches. So the three guys that you see from the back on the cover art are the three protagonists that you play. I forgot the names of the other two, to be honest, but only Dante rocks. Not just as a character, like he's the only one of them that's really cool, but also from the moveset. Like Dante has the most complex and complicated moveset of all of those three. and also the most interesting, the most weapons, etc. I found the movesets of the other two kind of boring. Even the third one, the one on the right with the cane, he summons animals. Yeah, this is in my opinion not really the best thing for a spectacle fighter. I mean, it was brave to test this out, but not my favorite. The performance though of the engine is amazing. Like, this game looks so good, and it runs on a Steam Deck at 60 FPS. This is probably one of the prettiest games you can play on a Steam Deck, and your jaw will drop to the floor. Like, how the hell does this run so good and look so good on a Steam Deck? But it does. Yeah. Next game. Ooh, yeah. Space Marine 1. Anniversary Edition. I have not tried the Mastercrafted Edition. I probably won't, because the reviews are not great for the Mastercrafted Edition. And just like Bayonetta and just like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, I replayed this game in 2023 because of the Steam Deck. And this game had a very special Steam Deck experience for me. Because, so, on a Steam Deck, obviously the controls, you have like the normal gamepad controls that you have on any like Xbox or PlayStation gamepad. On top of that, you have these touch pads that have very good haptic feedback, which you use when you need to use a mouse in the game. Or, this is a bit advanced, but you can do some like on-screen menus. And I mean, people play World of Warcraft and stuff like that on the Steam Deck, so it's possible, but it's a bit advanced. Like, right, you have to, I mean, you don't have to configure these things yourself. There are like community layouts for the Steam Deck. But so for aiming, the Steam Deck, obviously it has the right thumbstick, but it also has a gyroscope. So in Space Marine, if you have never seen it, it's like a combat. It's a third-person action combat game, but there's also some shooting, and sometimes you need aim down sights, especially for the sniper rifle. So when you just shoot from the hip, you just use the stick. There's no gyroscope, and it's super easy. Like with the what's it called, Steam Input, where you can remap the controls outside of the game. So if you have a game, that's also one of the reasons why the Steam Deck is so cool. If you have a game where you cannot remap controls, you can still do it outside of the game with Steam Input. I mean, you can do this on the PC as well, right? But it's very easy to set these things up, and the UI has been improved over the years, so it's even easier to set this up. So what you do is, when you aim down sights, you push the right trigger. And you just configure it that when you push the right trigger, then the rough aim is done via the right thumbstick, and the fine aim, like the fine adjustment on top of the thumbstick, is done via the gyroscope. And this works so well that it's not something that you need a lot of hours to get used to. It kind of works really well. And because the gyroscope is only active when you hold the trigger down, it doesn't bother you in like the melee combat. But this is still not done yet. So in this game, there's like a sniper rifle, and the zoom level of the sniper rifle obviously reduces the field of vision. And now, without me needing to tinker with the controls and the settings, the sensitivity of the gyroscope was kind of perfectly fitting the narrow field of vision of the sniper rifle, which means that when I only use the gyroscope to aim, I don't even touch the stick, and I use the sniper rifle, it kind of looks like I am holding a window to another world in my hands and looking through it. It's kind of, it almost became an augmented reality experience. And it was so cool because there are some firefights in this game where you have like sniping orcs, and you are surrounded in like this big cathedral type building. And I didn't even use the stick. I just turned around. I just stood up, played, and I played it standing up, and turned around to snipe these orcs. And it was really kind of like an augmented reality experience. It was so cool. I haven't had this with other games. So in general, the game, the combat feel is great. Like how the The movement feels so heavy. This was the first game, I would say, that had this ultramarine feeling that nailed it, right? So the combat feels super heavy, feels very meaty and impactful. The sounds are amazing. The voice acting, I would say, is mostly superb in this game, besides maybe one or two side characters. The orcs are hilarious. I replayed this game on the Steam Deck when I think this was like maybe the third or the fourth time that I played this game, and every time the orcs are so funny. The whole story is a bit meh, I would say. I don't know, this is subjective. But the overall gameplay and the combat is really cool. I don't understand why it has only 28,000 reviews. Maybe a lot of people play this on console. It is quite short though, so it doesn't take a long while to play through it. Definitely recommended in 2025. Such a good game and runs fantastic on the Steam Deck. Last but not least, Euro Truck Simulator 2. So I don't need to tell you what this is. It has probably by now 1 million reviews. Not really, but close to 1 million. Everybody knows what it is. The thing is, if you've played it already, you can switch the video off. If you have not played it and you think, why, it's a truck simulator, I won't enjoy that. You will. It's just, I don't know what it is about this game. It has very good pacing. It controls well with a gamepad. So it's not like you need a steering wheel to play it. You can play it with a gamepad. And it's kind of satisfying and fun and calming to just pick stuff up, drive it somewhere, and then, deliver it. It kind of hits this chill gameplay thing. There's a reason why so many people play it and why they enjoy it. It's overwhelmingly positive with close to 1 million reviews. That's something, right? So the only thing I would say, I mean, it also it's an old game. It still looks good, I would say, visually. The only thing is, I would say the traffic is a bit sparse. Even with, I don't remember if there were settings for traffic, but it could be a bit more traffic, I would say. But maybe that's just a limitation of the old engine. I wonder when they are going to do an Euro Truck Simulator 3. Because I think it will be quite difficult to make something that is even close to as good as this. So the chance of Euro Truck Simulator 3 being worse is kind of high, and their business model is probably DLC. But yeah, so if you ever get it on sale and you think you won't, even if you think you won't enjoy it, you will. All right, so there was all of the games in 2023. If you have any questions about them, leave me a comment. Thanks for watching. Have fun. Bye.